brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the cabin.
Morning, you lovely people. Ollie and Lecter here. Wheeler is off getting some much-needed rest. And I hope you're getting some much-needed rest as well. You don't need to get up yet. It's okay. We've got this for at least another half an hour or so. Then maybe you ought to just check on things after that. But we'll take care of things for the time being. Whatever the kids are up to, we got an eye on it. It's absolutely fine. Something's cooking in the kitchen. It smells great. It'll be fine.
Are you done your pre-game adjustments over there?
My pre-game adjustments. No.
Came in this morning. You're like a coach preparing for the next week in football. You just like got everything open, changing around plays. You've been going at her this morning.
Just having a little rummage.
Having a rummage.
Little technical rummage over here. If anything untoward happens in the next 2 hours, it is squarely one individual's fault, and that is mine. But don't worry. It's all going to be fine. Like I said, we got this. You can just go back to sleep. We're going to play some gentle music. It's all going to be very reassuring. I'm going to use that reassuring tone of voice. Maybe I'll use Jesse's PBS voice and just talk really quietly into the microphone in a very soothing way.
Did you mean that I could go back to sleep, or was that the royal you?
I figured usually we all go back to sleep at some point during the show. I mean, you might as well.
That's what the music's for.
That's what the music's for. Why do you think we have this on a loop for a couple of minutes at the top of every show? It's just to tell people, yeah, your alarm may have gone off, but it doesn't mean anything. People put far too much meaning into those things.
Yeah, you wake up on your own time.
Yeah, that's the whole point of waking up.
That's right.
Before alarms, you had knocker-uppers. Did you know about them?
Come again?
Yeah, knocker-uppers. Those are people who were hired by the factories in the 18th century, 19th century to go around and knock on people's windows to wake them up in the morning. That's what alarm clocks used to be.
Huh.
And we've only got 5 seconds left, so we're going to come back to knocker-uppers.
Mornings at the cabin, the podcast.
Weird jobs in history. Before cheap and reliable alarm clocks were widely available, people relied on knocker-ups, or knocker-uppers, to wake them up. This was a human alarm clock, who would knock on the top window until the worker would awaken. Because of the demands of industrialization in the 19th century, they could start waking people up as early as 3 a.m. in the morning.
Now, I could have told you all of this, but you had to go find some other British bloke on YouTube, didn't you?
It's nice to have variety.
Well, there you go. There's an intro to knocker-uppers provided by, I don't know, where'd you find that?
Oh, just YouTube.
Just YouTube somewhere.
Just YouTube knocker-upper.
Beautiful.
And look for the one with really terrible minimalist animation.
Excellent. Well, you know, British can't really afford good animation. We're not like you North Americans with Pixar and, you know, all those other DreamWorks.
Oh, we got it going on.
Yeah.
And you can only do a 2-minute production. Like, I've actually not that many more questions about knocker-uppers, but it's fascinating.
Isn't it, right?
Like learning new things about, you know, slang terms that now mean something very, very different.
When I started talking about knocking things up in the intro to the show this morning, you did not look like a man who was expecting to learn about alarm clocks.
No. I really was not.
But there you go. That is how people were woken up to go and do their day jobs. These people walked around middle of the night, big lock stick, something on the end of the stick, gets to 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, better go and wake them up. Tap, 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 tap on the window. Up you get. Knocker-upper's job done.
Or a pea shooter, depending on...
Apparently pea shooters were involved. I find that very unlikely.
Well, they got pictures on Google and everything.
No, I feel like that is a very amateur way to go about that. Yeah. Nobody's going to take anyone to, hello, Governor, I've got a pea shooter and I'll wake you up in the morning. No, you won't. You look ridiculous. Go away and go and pester some other 11-year-old.
And their aim must have been ridiculously good.
Imagine hitting the wrong window with a pea shooter.
I mean, you got to wake up, I assume, everyone. Right, like
not at the same time.
I guess not. Yeah, I guess they had like a rigorous schedule. Like we gotta go to this address. Don't wake that person up. Oh
man, woke that guy up last week.
That guy up.
Yeah, he was really unimpressed.
Yeah,
you got a big set of graph paper with like little windows drawn on it, and then like a little like arrow for this guy, then a big X across that one. Don't wake Alfred up. Alfred absolutely hates getting woken up. And then that guy, not that guy, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alfred
this guy, question mark?
Alfred and his wife actually sleep in separate rooms. So do not knock on that window. Yeah. She will murder you.
Yeah, or if you do knock on that window, just don't tell Alfred who opens it. Yeah.
I do have one question, however. Who knocked up the knocker-upper?
Well, that is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Because, of course, someone has to wake up the person doing the waking up. I imagine that they were probably awake and beginning their shift before everybody else had really gone to bed.
So knocker-uppers is a graveyard shift.
I think it's a graveyard shift.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think the deal is that you probably make sure you are awake last thing. So your partner or friend or whatever, just make sure that you're awake before they go to bed. And then you sort of carry out the night watch and then get round to knocking up. And I imagine you probably combined that with another job, like turning out the lights or like making sure the street lights came on. Or doing other, like you could do security stuff as well. So you could combine waking people up in the morning with doing something overnight.
Pretty important job, really.
Pretty important job.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a job that, of course, immediately disappeared.
Yeah.
The moment people had alarm clocks.
The Industrial Revolution.
The alarm clock took out that job in maybe a year, tops. And that was the end of the knocker-upper. Which before that, as you say, like everybody needed. So it was actually like being a mailman or someone like that. You know, a job that right now you think, well, we need those. How would you possibly live life without them? One invention, done.
And you know what? I got to say, I don't see alarm clocks patrolling the streets, keeping things quiet.
What have they ever done for us?
Right? They wake us up, but do they help us stay asleep?
And they do it very obstinately.
Yeah,
they wake us up in this very insistent and they lack empathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not a gentle tapping on your window, maybe with a little piece of metal just scritching at it.
There probably is an alarm clock setting you can download that will replicate that.
Oh, my God.
You know the ones where you could choose like Gentle Ocean in the morning or like Winding Country Lane with Birdsong. Yeah. Now you could choose Sound of Metal scraping against window. No!
The knocker-upper setting. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, yeah. That's a nice wake-up.
Amazing.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
Anyway, Mornings at the Cabin. Hello, everybody. It's Ollie and Lecter with you on your Wednesday morning, 7:37, 1.9 degrees outside. A little bit rainy this morning as well. But still, you know, here we are. Early October, still no negative sign in front of that temperature.
Yeah, there was a couple of little calls for possible flurries, although there was no minus overnight. So.
Yeah, calls for possible flurries. That's all right. That's all right. I can live with that.
Yeah.
But there's no negatives.
Yeah, which is really nice this morning because it's kind of drizzly outside. Oh, that would have been nasty.
Would have been.
Everyone would have been falling on their keisters on their walk to work this morning.
Exactly. Now, have you posted to the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page over there, Lecter?
Not yet, but it's coming up.
Okay. You're going to want to watch out for that. If you are just waking up this morning, then you've missed quite a lot. If you were here earlier on in the show, you will get the joke that will appear on the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page. If you were not here earlier on in the show, you may not get the joke and you may have questions.
We'll address those in the comments.
We will, will we? Okay, we'll address those in the comments. It's going to be a long day for me.
I'll post that little instructional video, too, in case anyone has any questions.
You know what? That would be good of you, because I feel like that might at least dissuade some of the more obvious replies to what is, on the face of it, going to be quite a provocative Facebook post.
There may be no dissuading those obvious replies.
All right, great. Welcome, everybody, to the show. So it is going to be a long day for me. We've got all this nonsense this morning. And then this evening at 9:15 p.m., the soccer season, the indoor soccer season in Yellowknife begins anew. I've got a new team.
Oh, wow. Squad.
A new squad. I haven't played for a couple of years, and I've decided now I want to play outfield instead of in goal, which hasn't happened since, I don't know, 1998?
Okay.
Maybe?
Yeah.
So it's been a while. But I would quite like to actually get some exercise in my evenings rather than stand around in goal and just get aimed at by people.
Right.
Which, yeah, much as I've enjoyed being a goalkeeper for the last 20 years of my life, it isn't the easiest way to get exercise.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is running around for an hour and they come off absolutely exhausted at the end. And like, oh, they got a really good workout. I basically prowled around a small section of very stretched, thin green carpet above concrete and then jumped up and down on concrete and threw my hips down on it several times and had a ball hit in my face.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, in the year 2020, it's never fun to get a soccer ball in the face, but this year especially, a ball that may have been touched by some other people. And I don't know that you want to take that to the face.
Funnily enough, they've changed the rules to accommodate that. So
really?
The new COVID-19 rules for the Yellowknife Indoor Soccer League are quite interesting.
Okay.
So you can't have more than 11 players on a team now, come what may. So the eternal Yellowknife dilemma of, the first couple of, I don't know if this is the same in hockey, but in soccer, the first few weeks of the season, everybody wants to play.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Benches are stacked.
Slow pitch, same thing.
Give it to...
except the cabin radio team, but...
Give it like a month and a half. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like 3 people turn up.
Crickets on the game day post.
Absolutely. So this time around, you cannot have more than 11, even if 16 of you in the team all want to turn up and play the first time. You can't.
Right. Yeah.
But
That's
then,
a good rule change.
Good rule, but then you have to decide, well, how do you pick your 11?
Yes.
Is it just the first people who saw the Facebook post? Well, that's not fair because not everybody has access to Facebook all the time. So then how do you work it out? Is there going to be some random draw? But then what happens to the people who are... So this is all happening in the team Facebook group right now. There's this big panic over how on earth do we decide which 11 lucky souls are selected for the season opener.
I think you just go by skill level. It's the only fair way to do it.
But we haven't even seen everybody play.
Oh, well, okay.
So then you just have to go with anticipated skill level.
Yes.
Which is very different. And if you've just heard one of your teams say on the air that they haven't played outfield since 1998, that might unfairly impact that player's, reckoning.
Yeah.
So
hit the showers early. Oh, wait. I don't think we can do that anymore.
You can't do that, so you can't use your change rooms. You have to turn up ready to play,
right?
Which is fine.
Yep.
And then once you're on the field, if the ball hits your head or your hands, it has to go and get disinfected, and the game is stopped. So you cannot head the ball anymore in indoor soccer. If that happens, if it was unintentional, I don't know how they're going to figure this one out. If it was unintentional, then the ball goes off and gets disinfected, and it's a drop ball, which is a sort of 50-50 restart. Or if it was intentional, then I think it's a free kick to the other team. But I feel like there could be some very entertaining arguments. You headed that ball on purpose. I didn't. It just hit my head.
I wasn't paying attention at all, actually.
I was just passing through. Suddenly this ball, I just decided to jump up all of a sudden out of pure joy and elation at being alive, and this ball struck me meanly and quite cruelly in the face.
I didn't even expect to be playing right now. I just responded before anyone else, and here I am.
Oh, I just happened to be wearing the same color as some other people who are on this field. I was just going over there, look, waving to a friend. Well, you shouldn't be waving to a friend. There should be no friends in here.
So no heading.
No heading.
Which is obviously like a pretty common part of soccer.
Yeah, pretty basic maneuver.
Yeah.
Yep. So I can't do that.
There's going to be a lot of torn groins this year.
There's going to be.
I'm just going to predict that right now.
But you know what? There's certainly, I'm going to agree.
Yeah, there's going to be people going for high kicks when they would have normally gone to head the ball, and they're going to regret it the next morning.
People getting feet in the face. What are you doing? Well, I just can't head it.
Yeah. Get out of the way of my foot.
That's why I'm doing this handstand and waiting patiently for the ball to come near me.
Oh, and now you got your head in the way of my foot. Now I have to go and disinfect my foot.
The Donald Trump approach to playing soccer. Well, your head was in the way of my foot. Yeah. I didn't punch him. His head was in the way of my fist. So we got that. Then no hands if it hits your hands, which was already, let's face it, not a great thing in soccer. Now the ball has to go off and get disinfected again.
Right.
So,
and you get a warning, I'm sure.
I'm sure you get some sort of you stop doing that.
Yeah.
But if it hits any other part of your body, we're going to assume COVID-19 is not there.
Yeah, that's safe. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Right? This is the thing with all of these rules. I get it. Yeah. It's a worthy attempt to try to minimize the risk, but it does rely on some interpretations of how life works.
Right.
That may not be the most robust under a close microscope.
Yeah.
Like, if you chest the ball, I think we're good. There's no issue with that.
Yeah.
But then you're relying on, presumably the whole point of having the header rule is that if it hits someone in the face, well, they might have COVID-19 and they might get on the ball.
Right.
Or if they're infected with COVID-19, the chances are there might be a bit of it on their chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have even reached a knee somehow.
Yeah.
So it feels like I like the fact that we've tried to accommodate this.
Yeah.
I am not massively convinced that the scientific scrutiny of these rules would come out well.
Yeah.
But you know what? We got to do something.
Was soccer one of the ones that was approved right at the start of phase 2, or did they have to kind of jump through a few hoops?
I'll be honest, I don't particularly know. I think there was an outdoor season, so I think they must have figured that out. I mean, outdoor is different.
Yeah.
It's an easier one to figure out.
Right.
But this will be the start of indoor, and I think we are the first game. We are the guinea pigs.
Okay.
So
no outbreaks now.
Tomorrow morning, if I'm not here, you'll know how that went.
Well, I mean, that could mean many things.
It could mean many things. It could be that, the knocker-upper just didn't turn up in time.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Dragon Toner, who are just across the way here. I'm looking at their offices across Franklin Avenue. They've been doing a thing all year long where they've been giving away, I think it's around about $1,000 each month, to a local organization of their choice. There was a whole application process and everything, whereby they're trying to support local community organizations in order to celebrate the fact that they've been around for 10 years. Now, their latest donation is the Foster Family Coalition of the NWT, and this one came about, I think, rather quickly, because the Foster Family Coalition has been through a few trying times recently. Tammy Roberts from the Foster Family Coalition is in with us this morning. Tammy, how did this come about?
Well, actually, I received an email from Dragon Toner just saying what they were doing and that they were donating money to organizations, and they happened to see an article about, our stolen teepee from our Camp Connections location, and just said that they had made their decision just by reading the article and reached out to us to let us know that we were going to receive this donation.
Well, that's fantastic that they did that, and I'm sure it's a crumb of comfort to you that they did that as well. But let's talk about this teepee for a little bit. For anybody who hasn't heard about this is like a 22-foot teepee that just went missing overnight, right?
Yeah, it's a 22-foot teepee that's right at the beginning when you come into our camp. And it's been there for a few years, and all of a sudden we went out to do a little work, and one of my staff texted me and said, "Did you take the teepee?" And so we were all questioning each other as to where the teepee canvas went, and then, talked to a few other people that had been out there and figured out that it had been gone missing someplace between like a Saturday and a Thursday.
Okay. I know it was a few days ago now that we reported that it had gone missing. Any update, anything really that we've learned since?
No, nothing that we've seen. Nobody appears to have known where our teepee's gone. And like I said in the beginning, I thought maybe it blew off, maybe it's in the bush somewhere. But that's a heavy piece of canvas, and I've carried it, so I know it's gone.
Okay. Well, we're sorry to hear that, and I know people will be keeping an eye out for it. At the same time, though, let's look at some positive things going on as well. First of all, the fact that Dragon Toner have been in touch and done this. What difference will their support make?
Oh, it's going to help us a lot. We're going to be able to put that money towards purchasing a new teepee. It'll probably cost us about $3,000 by the time we have it put up. It is not an easy task to put up a teepee. You need somebody who specializes in it, because I've tried and I was not good at it. So this is really going to help us out. We'll fundraise a bit to get the rest of the money over the winter and purchase one in the spring and have it set up.
Okay, I mean, it's just an unnecessary hassle, and I feel sorry for you guys. But you've done so much good stuff this year. I know that you had an open house here in Yellowknife not so long ago, maybe even last week, I think it was. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's crazy. I read the article that our reporter Sarah did from that open house, and the increase in staffing and programming seems amazing. Like, talk to me about how much you've been able to increase activities in the last maybe year or two.
Well, we've been out in the media a bit about the Auditor General's report about foster care and how things are not doing well, and we're not doing well. So we've been working closely with government and looking how we're going to make those changes. So we had just initially started doing that, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and we were in a position where we needed to make sure that our caregivers were supported. I don't know if you've ever been stuck in a house for day after day with a bunch of kids, and it's really challenging. So we put a team together and met twice a week discussing how we were going to do this, and a lot of programming came out of it. And so we put together a respite program that provides a bit of a break for caregivers across the territory. And we also saw a lack in services or things for kids to do over the summer, especially teens. There was nothing open. So we started a life skills program for our youth age 12 and up out of our office, and kept them busy all summer. And it was so successful that we have been able to secure funding to continue. So it's called the GLOW program. It's Gaining Life Skills Our Way. And they do all kinds of stuff. If you drive past our office, you'll see them out trying to change a tire, like doing things that you need to know in order to become an adult. And they're cooking. Right now, they're all doing their learner's license. So they've been studying like that. And just lots of things that these kids miss and that they're going to need in order to move out on their own.
Next time you are pulled over on the side of Highway 3, desperately trying to change a tire in a blowing blizzard, just tell yourself, I am gaining life skills my way. That's what I'm going to tell myself now that I've heard that. I'm just gaining life skills. It's fine, Ollie. It's fine. Don't lose your mind. It's going to be okay. Now, you mentioned if people drive past, they might see things like that. They might also see that mural as well.
Correct.
Tell us about the mural.
Oh, the mural is amazing. This is a project that's been started a bit over a year ago by Corey from our office. And it was from funding from Brighter Futures. And it's a collaboration of local artists and youth. And just the skills that the artists were teaching the youth that they didn't realize they were teaching them. The stories that come out of the paintings are amazing, and it just makes the front of our building look awesome.
If people want to see the front of said building, where are you guys?
We're located at 5125 50th, so right on the corner of 50th and 52nd. And we also this summer purchased a bus, so you'll see a tour bus in our driveway, and we've just got some decals that match the mural. So they're exact same as the mural. We're going to be putting those on the bus as soon as we find a warm enough garage to do that. And then you'll be able to see our bus heading around town.
Okay. It's good to hear that it ain't all bad and that there's some really good stuff going on. Tammy, thanks for coming in. And thank you to Dragon Toner as well for their support of you guys and for their donations to everybody this summer. $1,000 every month from Dragon Toner in celebration of their 10 years in the community here in Yellowknife. That was Tammy Roberts from the Foster Family Coalition. Tammy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
1.9 degrees still outside. It's just grey and miserable and meh. So we've sent Sarah Price out to get breakfast so that we don't have to go. It's great. Ollie and Lecter with you. Wheeler's going to be back tomorrow morning. And I just want to say I've got an email in my inbox. I don't think I can read any of this out. I don't think I can give anything away. I don't think even if there is anything to give away. There's an email.
Is there actually an email?
There is an email.
Oh, okay.
And it says, it's just the headline on it. The email subject is Santa Claus Parade.
Oh.
Because it's almost that time. Because, of course, in Yellowknife, Santa always visits a month and a half early just to make sure it's not too cold.
Yeah.
And so, we are, what are we? Yeah, month and a bit away from that.
Without you elaborating on the contents of that email, I got excited by the title, and then I got sad. Because I feel like I know what the contents is going to be.
He's going to be more than 6 feet away.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's got to be ways and means.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Okay.
I'm totally optimistic. You saw the Thanksgiving advice that came out yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. Cami Candola came out with the NWT's Thanksgiving advice. It was great. It was basically, don't follow all the usual restrictions, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that if someone doesn't turn up, you give them a doggy bag.
Oh.
Was essentially what it said.
Yeah.
Assign one person to do the carving.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is actually, you've kind of thought this through.
Yeah.
Like, that guy over there does the carving. Don't let anyone else. Families already do that. That's the only thing that most dads contribute to the whole day. Right?
Conversation.
Yeah. You've been assigned to the carving. Like every year.
Be a good host.
Yeah. Well, the reason you're assigned to the carving is because you never bloody do anything else. You realize that. But,
They pour drinks.
This year, that's a vital role. Pour drinks, but make sure that no one is sharing glasses or cutlery. That was in the advisory as well.
Yeah. I think most of the stuff in there, the Thanksgiving advice, was probably stuff that we already knew, but it was nice to, just have a refresher, because I feel like it had been a bit since we had heard anything new, really. So this is kind of the first, traditional gathering type event that we've had since, I guess Folk on the Rocks, really, up here. So, I think there were a lot of people, kind of nervously anticipating the COVID Thanksgiving, what that's going to look like.
And you know what tomorrow is, right?
Wait, no, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Thursday!
Yes, Wheeler syndrome struck for a moment there. Tomorrow is Halloween Guidance Day.
Okay.
So we're expecting tomorrow to be the day that we get the full whack of NWT Halloween guidelines.
Right.
I don't know, I look at the Thanksgiving stuff and I'm heartened a little by that, because the Thanksgiving guidelines were basically, look, we know you're all going to want to have Thanksgiving. Here's at least some of the ways that we can try and make this a little bit safer.
Right.
So I'm kind of hoping, I don't have any inside info on this, I'm hoping that the Halloween guidelines might be along the same sort of, just here's like a few simple things you can do to make sure that you're not getting within 6 feet of people.
Yeah.
But you can still put candy out for people, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, tomorrow we expect to have the full list of things you can do for a safe Halloween.
I feel like that one's going to be pretty easy to navigate. Especially, I mean, in contrast to what we were alluding to earlier, the Santa Claus parade. There's no parade aspect of Halloween necessarily. Yes, you're going around on the street, perhaps with a small group of friends, trick-or-treating. But it's pretty easy unless you're at the Hardy household and everyone's trying to get some of that goodness.
Maybe that'll be the Halloween guidelines. It's like, Ed and Jackie, knock it off for a year, will you? Like, it's just, there's got to be too many kids there. It's got to be crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe Ed and Jackie just give us a year.
The Hardys will have to have an RSVP list.
Yeah.
Everyone else is probably okay.
There are going to be 3 municipal enforcement officers controlling flow. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's what we're going to need. But I think you're right. I think there's a lot of street to work with if you've not got a parade going down the middle of it where people are supposed to line up.
Right.
So if it's just you and your family, Halloween is all about family bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is just little bubbles of people going round back and forth. And if you just tell all the bubbles, listen, just make sure you stay apart from the other ones.
Yeah.
Sure, that seems achievable.
Yeah.
And then you've just got to get to the part where everybody's getting their candy or whatever. And I feel like the human race has surely devised means whereby we can leave candy in a mutually agreeable no man's land. And like family units can come up and take some of the candy and then go away.
Yeah.
And
the very nature of it, too.
Yeah.
Santa Claus parade, Christmas, is all about bringing folks together, getting, cozy and all that. Halloween is about scaring people the hell away.
Yeah.
It is perfect for social
distancing. We spent months doing that.
That's right.
That's been the territory's motto all year. Go the heck away.
They've been looking forward to Halloween, if anything. This is going to be really easy.
This is amazing. We're not even going to let anyone in the territory for Halloween. It's going to be great. We're going to scare them away at the border. All the public health officials are going to be wearing scary masks and just carrying, devil's tridents or something, and just growling at people who turn up at the Alberta border.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. This is our chance to shine, NWT. And on that happy note, we will, of course, have those Halloween guidelines for you tomorrow. The Thanksgiving ones are already on our website. If you are planning your Thanksgiving, obviously, do it as safely as you can, but it's nice to know that we're going to hopefully be able to have some kind of Thanksgiving weekend coming up. There will be no regular Cabin Radio programming on Monday next week. We'll be back on Tuesday, but don't worry, we still got Thursday and Friday. Friday morning, Yellowknife-opoly Day.
Hey, that's going to be interesting.
7 till 9 Friday morning, we are all playing Yellowknife-opoly live from Studio One.
We might have to have a simulcast Facebook Live.
Yeah, maybe see if we can see if we can do that. I suspect that we're more enthusiastic about this than anyone listening.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, we'll see what we can do about that.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.